What's going on, guys? Spencer here for a very, very late video, but I figured I'd been wanting to do this for a while. Well, actually, I've been kind of talking about doing it on and off, and I wasn't sure. But yeah, by the title of this video, I'm finally going to open up my limited run games. I've been collecting since Saturday Morning RPG. Technically, I'm also going to do Retro City Rampage, just because they all kind of fall under the same category of, like, super omega rare. So, yeah, we're just going to split this up into two videos. I'm going to do PS4 first, and then Vita second. And just kind of talk about each release for a little bit. And yeah, I guess the big thing is I'll start up by saying, why have I owned these so long? No intent of selling them and haven't kept them open. And have been keeping them sealed. I guess the shortest answer would be, this started with Retro City Rampage back in 2014. And I honestly never thought this was going to become a thing where more developers and publishers were going to do really limited runs of digital-only games. And I thought, okay, I have it digitally. I'll just keep it sealed. No big deal. All I'm missing out on is the manual. But I'm not really the guy who keeps things sealed. And as limited run games kind of came along and started doing more stuff and adding more things in there, it was just kind of irking at me. He's like, yeah, I can play these games, but I love physical media so much. So it's kind of a mixture of the fact that I've always wanted to kind of open them. I kept them sealed, not like I ever planned on like selling them, just due to the fact that I thought, keep them in better condition, blah, 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 but I keep my games in pretty good condition as it is. Also, I've always wanted to kind of look through some of these manuals and stuff like that. I mean, might as well. So it's actually kind of weird doing this, because like I've joked about like how I'll never do this. But yeah, so we have, first up, Retro City Rampage DX, the game that started it all, done by V-Blank Entertainment. It was sold through Fangamer. I think they, Brian said there were like 2,000 copies of this made. Sold out in a couple of days. And by the way, these are all officially licensed like by Sony and stuff. You just won't ever find them in stores, or at least like a regular price. This one was $25, I think, if I recall right, or $20. I might be wrong. There's actually a really funny Cheap Ass Gamer forum about people complaining about the price of like, oh, $5 for shipping, whereas like now this game goes for like, I think it probably goes for like 100 or so. But yeah, so I'm gonna open this up now. It's very weird opening this game up that I've told myself for the past 2 years I would never open up, but I'm doing it. I promise I'm excited. It's just a very weird feeling of finally opening this up. So, here we go. It is open for the first time in history. Oh yeah, there's actually no manual for this. I forgot, yeah. I think Brian said he wanted to do a manual, but it didn't work. Actually, one of my favorite parts about this game is the reversible cover, though, and the disc art. If anyone here remembers the Master System, it had this really kind of plain looking grid system. And so that's the cover. And then on the back, you have little instructions. I like it as a kind of like not anticipation. I like it as a different way to have the legalese stuff on the inside, even though it's just the controls and a little short description. But at the same time, I definitely prefer the original cover, but it is cool to have. By the way, fun fact, this disc takes up a whopping 40 megabytes. It's on a Blu-ray, but it takes up 40 megabytes. It might be the smallest release. I'll have to go through the rest and kind of check it out. This is just the straight-up game. Some of these other releases I'll show you are actually going to be different when you put them in, like whether it be the startup might look different and different stuff like that. But yeah. Retro City Rampage is open. Holy crap, that's weird. Next up is the first PS4 game done by Saturday Morning RPG, and this actually, at least as of now, this is the rarest PlayStation 4 game, of all time, by only 20 copies, ironically. Retro City Rampage was 2,000. This is 1,980 to fit the 80s aesthetic of Saturday morning RPG. So this one is 260 megabytes. Fun little fact on the spine, probably won't actually focus, but it says right here it's LRP01, that's for Limited Run PlayStation Release 1. And the reason they do that is because all Limited Run games on the back, like basically there's two sets of numberings for it. There's the Limited Run Collection, and then there is the platform section, because they're not all on the same platforms, like PlayStation and Vita are different like things on the spine. So we're going to open this guy up. This one I know has a manual, and I've really wanted to kind of dig into it. This one I know goes for a crap ton of money, just because it is so limited. Like this one and then Breach and Clear go for just butt tons. So we have the game opened. Oh, get that new disc smell Douglas always talks about. It does kind of smell like Play-Doh. That is weird. But yeah, so here's the disc and the manual. Let's open up the manual. Check it out. We're not going to go through the whole thing. It's got Limited Run on the back. Super cool. Legalese, talks about the characters, shows all the stickers, and then a little thank you for playing thing. It's really nice. It's 12 pages, oh sorry, 13, so not crazy big, but still awesome, and I like the Trapper Keeper thing for it. So really cool manual to go through when I'm not unboxing a video that's probably going to be like 10 minutes or 15 minutes long. And next up is one that super got a lot of people into Limited Run. That's New and Tasty Oddworld. Well, I guess I was just thinking about this today. I always read it as New and Tasty Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey, but apparently it's actually Oddworld Abe's Odyssey New and Tasty. Just kind of odd. Did not mean that pun, I promise. So yeah, this one, nothing too like super crazy about it. Just the fact that this was their first big third-party one. I'm trying to think of any differences. There's no manual. There were 5,000 copies made. By the way, all Limited Run releases, unless like stated otherwise, are all like 20 bucks. Sorry, 25 bucks. But yeah, so we have the PS4 version. It's got all the accolades because the game's been out forever, and the main version reviewed very well. You can see down there, got Oddworld Inhabitants logo, limited edition, which I find funny. Like, in some world, there might be another reprint of this. Like, it's not off the books or whatever, but I guess that just separates it from the Limited Run version. Then on the back, kind of shows off some stuff. Notable about this is all the DLC is actually on the disc, which is kind of cool. Oh, was I wrong? Is there a manual? Oh. Oh, no, it's just the little pamphlet thing. I got really excited. I was like, holy crap, there's an Oddworld manual. But yeah, it's just the legalese thing. Somewhere someone has to make you put in there. But yeah, it's got all the companies that worked on it in the back. And then you have... I actually like this. So I know some people weren't the biggest fans of it. I actually like that the disc art has no logo up there. Just kind of makes it stand out. It's kind of cool. But yeah, that one is really cool. That one's 4.5 gigs, so Oddworld's definitely probably their biggest game that they've done so far in terms of like release titles, at least in my opinion. But yeah, next up, see, we got 2 more games left, at least for PS4. So we have Futuridium Extend Play Deluxe Limited Edition. This one's like one of my favorites, very glossy, so I'll open it up in a bit. This one was 2,000 copies only, so not a ton. Obviously, Futuridium isn't like as big of a title, but if anyone's like ever played it, I know it just came out on Wii U, or is about to, and 3DS, but it's been on PlayStation, Vita, PS4, and Steam forever. Really love the cover. The kind of like grid like aesthetic looks really nice, and even kind of goes into the spine. It's really cool. So yeah, this one, yeah, no manual for this one as well, but I will say I do like how it's the full thing is the legalese card. So nothing too crazy, but one of the cool things of this, oh man, the disc art's, yeah, the disc art's really cool. It's the full cover, the PS4 version. Interesting thing about this one though, is when you actually put it in, I think it's the same place, like it would override like your download version if you had it, but when you're booting it up, it actually says limited edition, so like it's in the code as it knows that it's the disc version. And then last but not least, and this is actually one of the biggest reasons I wanted to open these. I mean, obviously I mentioned I wanted to check out the manuals. I wanted to actually play these games in the physical version. PS4, you don't really get that big of a difference. And also, a trend with all those other games is they were all, with the exception of Saturday Morning RPG, which I got a review code for, PlayStation Plus games. So I'd already had a way to play them without opening it. I do not own Octodad. I've always wanted to own Octodad. It was just one of those things like, oh, I never really got it, too busy. And then when this came, I was like, oh, I'd love to play this now. So this one was 4,500 copies. And let's see, we're opening it up. Fun thing about the cover is the game actually, the developers, Young Horses, did this cover exclusively for the release, which is kind of cool. I don't know if they are the first ones to do that. Weird thing about Octodad, it's the first one where this section they were not able to use for the limited run stuff before. It's where the ESRB things would go. Sony changed some guidelines, so now they have to put it up there where it's a little smaller. Kind of sucks for consistency reasons, but whatever. As long as it's still there, makes me happy. So yeah, Octodad, and this one actually finally returns the manual. I know it was weird, like they started with a really cool manual and then had no manual. Obviously, it's up to the developers if they want to do it, and then obviously it adds like a small but adds up cost to everything, and then also requires like work. So on the disc art, we got Octodad being a regular dad, and then our little manual, let's see. So it is considerably shorter than Saturday Morning RPG, but is welcomed nonetheless. So basically, it just goes through and shows you all the party members in the game. It shows you all the main characters in the game, with the exception of, I guess, the banana. Although I've not played Dadley's Catch, so banana might actually be a big deal. I don't know. But yeah, so it's a nice little manual. I know the next one's Zeo Drifters is supposed to have a cool little manual, and Lost Sea I'm really excited for. But yeah, that is Octodad, and that is actually all of my sealed PS4 limited run games that have all been sealed up for years and years to go. Very appropriate, I was wearing my limited run shirt today. But yeah, so that's the PS4 one. I'll do the Vita ones next, and next releases that I guess I'll be unboxing as they kind of come up. I just ordered Lost Sea and Zeo Drifters, like I said. Breach and Clear's coming up. Other stuff like that. Just subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with that stuff. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm at Torchwood4SP. If you want to like check out more limited run stuff, just follow them on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all that other stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.